Kuf Nun Hey. And the principle I've been discussing for quite some time already, the effect of the Makif HaKloli on the Pnimi level. Makif HaKloli refers to the Makif that is not dedicated to one aspect of the recipient. Makif HaKloli means that aspect, that the Makif that is encompassing and providing the Makif for everything, for all aspects of the Pnim, of the recipient. So this is kind of a union in the past that we spoke about. Let us, now having mentioned it, let us focus in and try to identify. The Rebbe says we learn that Makifim Protein, there's a Makif that is specific to a certain aspect. How is it a Makif if this is specific to a certain aspect? And then there is a Makif that is Kloli, that encompasses and refers to and provides the Makif for all aspects equally. So let us take a specific aspect of a human life, human activities. Something very common. A person has to eat. In the phenomenon of eating, it's a very easy way to identify the Pnimi and the Makif. The reason for that is because eating is not exclusively a human pursuit, but lahavdil, even animals also eat. And yet, even though eating is such a simple thing that actually is be found even by all creatures, when it comes to the human being, it is presented to him from a Makif stance, from a Makif perspective. He's not given food as such. Food to him is presented in a certain manner that is dignified and is enticing and it has beauty along with it. And it is clearly clear that this food is being prepared for an entity, for a creature, who is not just focused on food, but he is much greater and broader than just the food that he's consuming. This is the Makif specific to a certain activity. This Makif is extremely important to the human being. But this is called Makif Proti. Makif that is focused specifically on a certain aspect of a human activity. Makif Proti of a certain pnimi. Then there is Makif Kloli. Makif Kloli, that is, which encompasses all aspects of human life. For example, again, makif proti, food you serve in a plate, on a table, and so forth. But this table and the plate themselves are also encompassed in a makif. At the lowest level, it is the room. On the broader level, it is the house. And then on the broader level, it is the land where the house is standing, which also makes a great difference, a great effect on the human life. The higher we go, the broader the makif is. It's a higher kind of a makif. And here's a point where we can actually focus in and understand and try to identify what it means to have a piece of land around your house, rather than just to have a house. To have a piece of land around the house brings a person to a recognition that he is provided not only by his needs and his function, but he's a true presence in the world. He has even aspects of the world that he does not need per se for his activity, for his just sustenance. It is just to welcome him, to make him feel welcome. There's an abundance for him. This is relating to the person's rotzen and oinig, not to his needs per se. This is called makif hakloli. This makif hakloli, every aspect of makif, does have an effect on the pnimi. And the Rebbe says that even the makif hakloli has an effect on the pnimi. As we have now just pointed out, only as a so to speak, a superficial glance, the makif hakloli is recognizable from a pnimi perspective. Since I started, I want to kind of bring it to a broader conclusion. You said before, a person eats by a table, and he has his specific plate and so forth, place and table and chair and so forth. The fact that this table is in a room, the fact that the room is in a house, the fact that the house has surrounding ground around it is not part of the experience of eating. Yet, we focus in and try to understand, we recognize that it does have an effect. And there is the cognizance, even at the practical level of eating at a plain table, has an aspect and a reflection of the fact that there is the makif hakloli. Some time ago, we spoke about what's called in America the fast food drink. Fast food is almost like an American invention. You go into a store, you order your sandwich, and they give you the sandwich and take the sandwich and run out. Fast food, fast in and out. You don't even eat it there. Just grab it and take it with you. This fresh food is a food as food goes, but it's lacking the makif that comes along with the human activity. And as a matter of fact, there's something lacking in this consumption. Because in the pnimi, it's imperative that there has to be a sense of the makif, of the well-being, of the welcoming aspect, of the oiling aspect. There is no question, I'm not an expert on this by far, that fast food does not have the same health provision for the person as when he eats in a calm way. There's no way. So this is demonstrating and giving us a very, on a low level, recognition, understanding of how makif is effective on the pnimi. And as we said, not only the makif specific to a certain aspect, but even makif hakloli, a makif that is an overall makif. As we just finished saying, that when a person has his meal, after that all these things of the meal are set up properly, the sense that this meal is taking place in a house, and the house is surrounded by land, and all the other provisions, all other welcoming aspects of this activity is part of the meal. This is how we're demonstrating the principle that it says that the makif hakloli, even the makif hakloli, has an effect on the pnimi.
Rabbi PALTIEL?
Just 1 second. And this pnimi, the pnimi, in order to benefit, in order to recognize this makif hakloli, the pnimi has to have an aspect what's called bitul. Has to have an aspect where he relates to something beyond, greater than the activity itself. And this is, the effect of this bitul is such that he can receive the essence of this makif. And in the nimshal that we're talking about is the chayes alakim. As a result of the bitul, he can actually receive and absorb and be part of and be a beneficiary of the chayes alakim itself, beyond his activity and so forth, of the lakus itself. Yes, Baruch.
You know what? Never mind. It's not worth asking.
So I just want to, the last lines, the last 2 lines of the kitzur, so that we go right into this. The last words on the there's in the kitzur there's a small line and there's a bigger line. The last words of the bigger line. V'teyalas habitul. V'teyalas, the benefit of the bitul. Hu sheyuchal hanibra lekabel chayes melukus. The benefit of the beetle is that the Nivra should be able to receive chayes from the Lakus. The principle that beetle is necessary to receive chayes from the Lakus we already discussed, but just want to reiterate. A Lakus is not a worldly presence. A Lakus is not graspable with worldly means. Therefore, how does the world, how does a Nivra relate and benefit from the presence of a Lakus in the world? He cannot identify it, he cannot, so to speak, focus into it. The answer is, it is recognizing that the Lakus is the presence of a Lakus, and he is vital to this presence. Vital to this presence means that he is receiving a Lakus not as he is receiving it, but as a Lakus is giving it to him. He is purely a recipient in this process. He's not a taker. He's a recipient. He lets a Lakus do it for him. If he's a recipient, then he can benefit from the Lakus. Again, we had Mesholim for this, and the most blatant, clear Mashal is the breathing process. If a person decides he doesn't want the air to come in to him naturally, automatically, the pressure of the air should push, no, I want to do it on my own. He is canceling life. His life will be laborious just to maintain the minimum life. Whereas life is supposed to be a divine gift. And this is what beetle is. To receive chayas, something which is not a worldly creature, worldly aspect. It cannot be tangibly identified. To receive that, you have to receive it by relating to the source of the chayas and letting it be given to you completely. And giving up on that particular aspect, giving up the principle of, oh, I'm self-standing and I'm really independent. You're not independent. At this moment, in that area, in that level, one has to concede totally that it is something which is given to him, and he has no contribution to having it. This is how the makif is received and effective on the people. Now we're going to see Samachal. Yesh loimar oid. Furthermore, it can be said, the question that the Rebbe is really simplifying is with what is the effect of the makif hakloli on the pnimi.
Rabbi PALTIEL, now you have a question. Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, you can.
All this discussion is talking about the makif hakloli after the tzimtzum, the machshava hakduma.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes.
We'll get to the other makif eventually, I'm sure, huh?
Yeah, Mitzvah Hashem. Yesh leimer oid. Furthermore, another aspect can be brought into this to understand the effect of makif hakloli. Pimashiko, so Belikut Teira with the Amatzah Hashmitz. Based on what it says in Likut Teira in this Bible. It says there, phenomenally, the Bechinas Ak, Bechinas Odom Kadmi, which is the Makiv Kloli, at the lower level of Makiv. Hagam Shelo Shayer Ben Hislapshus, the Bechinas Pnimi, although that in the Ak Leishayach, it's inapplicable to speak in Ag, the Bechinas Pnimi. A Hislapshus of get involved, engage to provide Makiv to in a Pnimi manner. Hislapshus, what Hislapshus means, as you said, to be engaged. To demonstrate, we already spoke about it a while ago, to demonstrate the needs for Hislapshus in a very simple level. The person has to drink. Drinking is accomplished by taking water into one's mouth and swallowing the water. One is the human way that this water is served to his mouth. He does not drink by jumping into the lake and drinking the water. The water is placed in a cup, and the person lifts the cup in his hand, and he brings the cup to his mouth by the service of his hand. He tilts it a bit, and then the water is being served in a, so to speak, in a minimal and an acceptable manner. This whole process of putting water into a cup and placing the cup on the table and picking up the cup in his hand and bringing the cup to his mouth and so forth, this is called hislapshus. All you're doing is serving water, but you're serving water with the hislapshus. You are conscious what you're doing, and it's done step by step. And you can't bypass any of these steps. Now, if you speak from a higher perspective, not how you serve the water, but the fact that you have to drink, there the principle of the cup and the serving the cup and so is totally insignificant. Please understand what that means. That when you're actually picking up the cup in your hand and bringing the cup to your mouth, you are not then conscious of the fact that you are thirsty and you have to serve water to your mouth. At that moment, you're conscious of one thing, that you have to serve the water in a manner that you shouldn't spill all over the place. The ultimate goal and the ultimate purpose is almost not a participant in this whole activity. Yet, the REBBE says that the Makiv HaKloli is a participant in a very subtle manner in this activity as to how it being served, but not the hislapshus. Hislapshus means that it should be conscious from the Makiv level on every step of the way. but it is but a participant in the sense that the water is being served in a manner that the human being can accept it and consume it in a healthy way. You won't drown it. You'll be able to take sip by sip so they can swallow it one sip and then take another sip. So that despite the fact that there is a makif element, there's an effect of the makif on the pnimi. So it says in the Maimon of Teras means that ak, which is a makif akloli for the entire creation, although Chaleshaya be Islapshus b'chinas pnimi, Islapshus b'chinas pnimi, in an oipnimi manner, is not shayach because this is a makif. It's an overall reality. But yet still, here's where it's a challenging thing. The ha'ora, you'll be compelled to understand the word ha'ora for a moment. Ha'ora's gilui zeh, the reflection of this gilui, of the oir of Adam Kadmon, Muchrach liyetz b'Yisrael. Is muchrach, it's imperative that he should be present by Yisrael. A Yidden should be conscious and affected by the ha'ora of this gilui of Oyer Makif, of the Adam Kadmon. What is a ha'ora? It says in this, even though that it to be established by Pnimi, of the ha'ora of this gilui is imperative that it should be Yisrael. What is the ha'ora of this gilui?
What's the gilui in the first place? What gilui?
The makif of Adam Kadmon.
That is already a gilui.
Yeah. What is the makif of Adam Kadmon? The makif of Adam Kadmon is that everything that comes into the world is first perceived from a makif perspective. It does not materialize when it is needed, but there's a makif aspect. There is an overall recognition and a provision for it. It's called the makif Adam Kadmon. Hopefully, many things will surface as we go into this. What is the ha'ora of this makif of Adam Kadmon? Ha'ora means the effect, the reflection. What is the effect and the reflection of this Adam Kadmon? Adam Kadmon means that everything that takes place in the world is preconceived and pre-identified at a higher level. It means Adam, the full-fledged, the full aspect of a human being, so to speak, of human activity, is Kadmon is previously conceived. That the human being is a human being not on a virtue that in an activity level only. He's a human being on a conceptual level as well. But this is the way it should be. What is the ha'ora of Adam Kadmon? The ha'ora of this Adam is, yes, again, as in our motion. What is the ha'ora of the fact that a human being is present in a house? A house has land around it, and in the house there's rooms, and every room has a particular function, and within this room itself there is a table and chair. What is the ha'ora of all that? Although there's practical aspects of it, what is it overall reflect? It reflects the principle. As I said many times in the past, the human being, when he was created, the only creature that the Torah speaks about is being created prior to its creation, of being planned ahead of time, is a human being. Doesn't say in the Torah, let me make a sun, let me make an earth, doesn't say anything like that. The only one that is presented from a planning stage is the human being. What is this? What does this tell us? The Torah tells it to us. What's the point of telling it to us? The message in this is that the human being is clearly perceived from a divine level. Because ultimately when he's created, let us make man, and he will rule the world, and he will make the world a human, an orderly place and so forth. But that's not why he is there. That's not the full extent of his presence. Full extent of his presence is preconceived before he's even created. Let us make man. There's a divine significance in the human creation. This is the makif of the human being. So that the human being, as small as he is really representing a divine will, interest in the world. Something which is super worldly completely. He's not part of the world, as we said many times. The human being and the world are not, don't belong together. This is why anything that the human being partakes in the world has to have special preparation, so it should be dignified, worthy, and clearly, it's suitable for the human being. For him to take food because there is food is not, is an insult. For him, human being, the food has to be presented in a very special manner that it clearly was preconceived and prepared ahead of time. And conceived to a higher, from an intellectual and spiritual level. This is the effect of the makif that translates all the way down on the